All right, welcome to the WorkWriter Chronic Illness Tracker. This is the page that you'll land on when you first go to duplicate the template to your own workspace. Just has a bunch of information about the template, a lot of the information in this video if you prefer to read it, and then you can go in here into the actual template. And you can see there are a few different views that we can go through later, but first I want to go through the different fields. And we're just going to open this in center piece. And we have a template set up to apply to all new entries that automatically does the date, sets the date, and some other things that we'll talk about in a minute. So the title of each entry will be the date, and then there will also be a separate date entry or like a separate date format field. And this is so that we can have the calendar view and the sorting by date and things like that. And so, in my opinion, this slight redundancy between the two dates is worth it. And then this is a field where you can just give your health a general rating for the day on a scale of 1 to 10. And there is a progress bar set up so that you can actually kind of visualize it. And then there's the same with sleep. This is in hours, so note that, and you can use decimal points, but you can't enter anything like 5 hours and 6 minutes or something like that. You would need to figure out the decimal point for the 6 minutes. And this is currently at a goal of 7 hours of sleep. But if you want to change that, you can just come into this menu by clicking on the field and choosing what number to divide your sleep time by. And that same process applies to all of the other fields with goals set up. So there's hydration. Right now it's at in ounces for 64 ounces. But if you wanted to change that, you could just do so right here. And you could just put note in the information field right here what measurement you're using if you use like multiple in your life. Like sometimes I measure how many like bottles I drank of the water bottle I use. And sometimes I kind of think of my hydration in terms of ounces. So having this note here helps me stay consistent with what I'm entering. And then there's also a movement field where you can enter how long you're kind of like up and active. Right now it's set up for a goal of 15 minutes. You can change that for whatever goal that you want to have. And you can also, you don't have to use minutes. You know, in my own version of this health tracker, for example, I actually track steps instead of minutes active, just because I find that that's an easier way for me to see when I'm kind of pushing too hard or when I am a little bit too on the couch. Next, we have a food field. This is multi-select. I don't have a lot of options in here just because the way that we all need to track food for our health is so different. You might want to track ingredients. You might want to track meals. You might want to track specific nutrients. So I just put just enough options in to have some sample data in these example entries, but you can just add whatever you want just by typing in an option that's not there yet. You can create it. Feelings, this is a place where you can track your moods and emotions throughout the day. It's multi-select, so, you know, if you had a lot of ups and downs and a lot of different emotions or moods, you can log that here. Symptoms, once again, I put some common ones in here, but you're probably going to want to customize these further to represent what symptoms you experience with your chronic illnesses. And then there's a field for possible causes, where if you know any of your kind of like triggers or scenarios, things that cause certain symptoms, you can note those here. So you can say, like, let's say I ate sugar and I know that sugar is a sugar food. I can then like note that here. And if you don't know any possible causes yet or have any suspected correlations like this, that is what this template will help you figure out. So don't worry if you don't know any of this yet. Then there's also a place for you to put what treatments you had, like just general things you did to manage symptoms and conditions, whether that's like a prescription medication or an over-the-counter medication or something like physical therapy or some other kind of treatment or a topical cream or something like that. You can just do that, and I'll give you some advice for this in the template section too. And then if you would just categorize the day as a flare-up based on like the number of symptoms you experienced or the severity of a specific symptom, you can just check that here, and then that will add it to the list of flare-ups. And then finally, there's just a notes field where you can or you can add anything else that you think is important or noteworthy about your health or the things that might have impacted it on this day. So that is how the entries are set up. And like I said, there's also a template that will get things started for you. So you can see that when you create a new entry, this will automatically apply, and the title will be the date when duplicated. And the formatted date will also be the date when duplicated. So those will automatically be filled in for you already. And then I suggest that you also edit the template so that any treatments or medications that you take daily are also automatically filled in. So let's say that these two medications are ones that I automatically take daily, and so is that. So those are ones I take daily, and then the rest of the medications I just take when certain symptoms are bad. I would build these into the template, and then at the end of each day when I'm filling this out, I would just add anything else I took. And the same with food. If you are a person of routine like me, there are going to be some meals that are the same every day. So, if you eat the same breakfast every day, you can just add the ingredients or breakfast or whatever selected into the food template so that it is automatically selected and you don't have to click on it every single day. So that is the template. And then finally, we have the different views. So this is just your main basic unfiltered view. There's also an unfiltered view in calendar form. There is also a view of just your flare-up days. This is really useful for seeing how often you're flaring up, what's causing flare-ups, what your flare-ups look like. Just a very useful view to have and thing to be able to look back on, especially like before a doctor's appointment when you're trying to figure out what to talk to them about. And then there's also two views that I made that can hopefully help you identify patterns. So you can look at days that are above average. And so this filter is set up for when your health rating is a 6 or higher. And you can kind of look at this, look at the different entries in this and see if you see any commonalities and things like that. And so that can be helpful for that. And then you can do the opposite with the below average days. So this is when the rating is below a 4, and you can do that to maybe identify different triggers or just things that your bad days have in common so you know to avoid or prepare for them in the future. So those are the different views. Once again, you can add any others that you want, just like that. You can also edit the template. You can create multiple templates for different types of days if you want to as well. You would just change which one is applied for the default. And I hope this is helpful for you. If you do find out anything useful because of the tracking that you do with the template, I would love to hear about it. Let me know and share the one with me on Instagram or email or whatever.